So I haven't seen the new figures in the shops for a little while, and I have been looking. But rather than wait, I thought I would show you this book instead, which I mentioned to you before, and it's one that I think you'll like some of the stories in it. It's called Tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina, and it's a collection of 16 short stories written by lots of different Star Wars authors about some of the aliens in the cantina in Star Wars. I've read it before, and it is quite long, so I'll just start with the first little story, which is called We Don't Do Weddings, The Band's Tale. And this story tells the story of the Cantina Band, and it turns out they're called the Modal Nodes, and they're led by an alien, a Bith, called Figrin Dian. Figrin is a Bith from the planet Clactor 7. Biths are very advanced aliens with large, complex brains, which is why they've got such enormous heads. They're especially creative and skilled in the arts and science, and they have 5-fingered hands, so they can play lots of different musical instruments. Figrin plays something called a clue horn, and because of his skills playing this instrument, he was known as Fiery Figrin. And in the story, the band start, we first meet the band, and they're working for Jabba the Hutt. However, a rival of Jabba's called Lady Valerian, who is a whipped alien, which is a bit like a furry Gamorrean guard. She sends a droid to Figrin and threatens to kill him and the band if they don't agree to play at her wedding, even though, as the title says and the band say, the band don't do weddings. And so when Jabba hears that the band have left him, he sends his goons to disrupt the wedding, and this results in a big fight. Stormtroopers are called in just in time, and they stop the violence, and they allow the band to escape to the Mos Eisley Cantina. And then Figrin and the band agree to play in the cantina until he can save enough money to leave Tatooine. You know, both you and I are always interested in anything Star Wars, books or comics or hopefully even new films. So I like books like this, which have got lots of little stories in them. Though from this story, I can't say really before now I'd ever given the band in Star Wars very much thought. But it's interesting to know the band's name and the individual members' names, and that they used to work for Jabba the Hutt. The book also tells us the name of the landlord in the cantina, which is the guy with the ugly chap with the weird nose behind the bar, whose name is Wooher. Whether I've pronounced that right, I don't know. It's a fun little story, but unless, like us, you're really super Star Wars super fans, I don't think anyone would be very interested in it, unless they really love the band, I suppose. So really, other than learning the names of the band, you don't really learn much new about Star Wars in general. Although when I reread this story to remind myself so I could tell you, it did make me think it would be quite cool to have figures of the band members, because they'd have to be a little different, like the old Hoth one, but they need to be taller than the human figures, so they could be special ones, I don't know. But we haven't had any figures for a little while, but hopefully we'll have some more figures from Star Wars soon, and hopefully more from Return of the Jedi as well. So hopefully you like the story, and I will read to you as soon as I can. Love you lots. See you soon. Bye.